think Portland. Flannels, pine trees, music. All of those things also describe Seattle. Okay, Stumptown, roses, donuts. Let's do this. I'm making a video about the idea of going to Portland, ways to kind of Oregonian up while I'm here in Seattle.
I will make sure that you get the Oregon experience.
And I figured it would also be a good time to get to know some of my Portland people.
Never actually met in real life and talked. This is awesome.
Hashtag YouTuber problems, right? Am I right? I always feel a little bit rebellious for a girl who lives in Seattle because I'm from Oregon originally. I basically was a gnome as a child. Pacific Northwest people are not go out all the time and like spend all of their free time with people. They're like making songs in basements.
Yeah, or hiking in the woods.
Right.
By themselves.
A lot of mountain Instagram.
Yes. We're all about our waterfalls.
Have you been to Silver Falls?
I haven't. I have seen a remarkably few number of waterfalls. My percentage of waterfalls in my life is not high enough. We need to fix that.
It's so beautiful. I went a few weeks ago with one of my friends. I met her on TikTok and met her at a meet and greet we had back in September. She's such an amazing person, and she's a photographer too, so she's been very helpful with some of my photography stuff, doing more collaborations, I want to say.
Our world is so weird. It's really nice to have somebody who understands or somebody who will like be willing to kind of adventure down those roads with you. A good social media friend is like the best.
We're close to mountains, we're close to the ocean.
And it's so good. Awesome. It raining all the time means the plants are really alive. Talk about Wonderland. I am not incredibly tall. In the height of summer, I'll go walking and there will be sunflowers that are like taller than me. I love that you have the doorknob. I was just thinking a couple days ago that I want one someday. Like I want to have like a real one someday. The whole room is like a mystical space you've got going on in there. Magical tiny door, light up magic rose. Makes me feel like I'm in a room I'm not supposed to be in.
Right? Behind me is an actual door. My husband Pete bought a door, cut it in half.
Oh my gosh.
We painted it and it looks like the Alice in Wonderland door.
A store in Japan, they only sell products that have to do with Alice in Wonderland. I did like a really weird Alice in Wonderland Japan thing years ago. But
that sounds fun.
You know when you like achieve something on your bucket list and you're like, yeah, that was great, I did it. That never seems to take care of the problem for me. I always just want to go back and do it again. It's been longer. Level 2. Yeah. Disneyland is a great example. I'm like, okay, cool. We've done a lot of that. I've never been to Disney World.
Me neither.
Oh, we should go post-COVID Disney World. That would be great.
I want to see Epcot more than anything.
The Instagram walls that I've heard are famous based on blogs and stuff, like real weird niche things. Stumptown's kind of my default when I'm like hanging out in Portland. I don't know. Is that like not cool? Is that not local to Portland?
No, that's one of my favorite coffee houses to go.
Gotta be careful. Yeah. It's kind of like touchy when you say like Starbucks to Seattle people.
I'm not a fan of their cold brew from the store, but the actual joint itself, yes.
The transportation in your city is so simple.
It's amazing.
That's a place Portland wins, hands down, over Seattle.
I totally agree. And I've been really getting into cosplay more. A lot of sewing and making things for that. My husband bought a 3D printer, so we've been making props. That's been really fun.
That's a huge YouTube vertical. I talk about it with Joel a fair amount.
We always see each other at least twice a year at Comic-Con.
There was a time when we were at VidCon, and I'd been spending a lot of time on YouTube at the time, had forums for creators. So I'd been engaging and doing all these like global collaborations. I ended up having friends from like all over the world that I saw for the first time. Suddenly, like the whole world could meet in a place through the internet. Like these things could kind of coalesce into a community that was so big. These little moments where you built friends online, but they're also friends like in real life. Suddenly it was not just a dream or a theory. It was like really real for me. And Joel was there. We're hanging out with the whole world. I love the community element of this. I think that's probably pretty cool.
I do too.
But when I have questions about Portland, I think now, I wonder if Marie's got information that I've seen you.
I'll do my best.
Well, you know, doing that deep dig that only somebody who really lives in a place and loves it with like that open eye can.
This is Shorty.
Hi, cutie. She looks a little bit like Mika. Also has like moo cow painting and the Holstein-esque vibes. You do like being on camera, huh?
Oh, you're shy.
Hi, sweetheart. Oh, what a cutie. I have never gotten to come out and like see you guys for me.
Right.
I've got like a London pod of people. I've got a pod of people in Melbourne, but like I don't have one in Portland.
I have a couple friends here that are also YouTubers and we'll meet up occasionally, but
everybody might just meet up with their friends. That's kind of what happened in Seattle for years. And then there's the group here I'm on the board with, and I do feel like there's at least a sense that there's somewhere for people to ask questions now.
I have a YouTube friend here. His name is Clearski. He does a lot of like pop culture type stuff, celebrity graves and things of that sort.
We met at VidCon. I love how many friends I have that I know from like a moment in time, and then like little bits of social media this way, little bits of YouTubery that way. There are TikTok meetups in Portland area.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of Mike Bennett, but he's a big TikToker. He does like wooden cutouts, like characters. Lately, he's been doing dinosaurs and putting them around little vintage shops.
The world can look forward to the day that you and I vlog our way to some dinosaurs somewhere.
That'd be really fun.
One of my favorite things about Portland is kind of the fact that there's so much of Portland to explore. Where do you wish you could go right now? Free day, money doesn't matter.
A few years ago, ModCloth had a little tiny shop here in
Oh,
Portland,
wow.
and I got to go to it, and I was so excited, and it was just like a little pop-up shop. That's the shop I want to go to, and if it was here again, I would definitely go there. But I love the Brock Boutique. They have really cute dresses and top like bees and musical type of
fun.
dresses.
I've stayed at a lot of the McMinimans over time. The Crystal Ballroom is technically part of McMiniman's properties, and that's a big venue for you guys. Have you ever taken the tour? The short version of this is the floor is built on top of like metal balls. You feel the sound like in your body. This is like the most Oregon discussion of all time, but yes, totally recommend it. I think the tours are free.
I don't know if they're doing tours right now.
Probably not right now. They should do them virtually. Should call me.
Yeah.
We could talk about good social movements.
I go dancing there quite often. I go to 80s night all the time.
Oh,
80s
fun.
and 90s night and 2000s night. I get real dressed up. I sometimes wear wigs when I go out. And I've met so many amazing people, and the atmosphere is so great.
I love a crimping iron moment. I saw one as a child at a Goodwill. It was hot pink, and I was like, oh, I kind of want this. And I remember not picking it up. And I swear, my whole life, I've kind of thought that like that might be the one purchase I knew I was supposed to make, and I didn't. I really love to find places that are just a little bit out of the way, and I like to have like really interesting engagements with proprietors of small shops, and I think Portland's really open to that idea.
Before everything that's happened, like I could just walk down there and just like look at all the cute little shops, and I never felt like you were in a huge city.
Yeah.
Like it is a city, but it has trees and greenery and homey feel, but in the city.
I totally agree. I think that's part of why I probably return. Every time I see you, I'm like, look at her with the bold outfit moves. Love.
I just be who I am. Like I look like I'm going to a party. I want to be that. I want to
Yeah.
You can come to my house,
Right.
hang out with me, we're at a party.
And anybody who hasn't run into your TikToks most definitely should. I'll of course like put links and things below and comment space, magical comment space down below. I think there's also just something about being from Oregon that kind of pulls you back to Oregon. I once lost a phone on the street in downtown Portland. Dropped it, fell out of my bags. That horrible moment where you dig through your bag and you're like, is it gone? Somehow these people found it. They went out of their way, turned around from where they were going to dinner to bring the phone back. That feels in my core kind of the way Oregon taught me to be towards people. Everybody has those moments where they lose their phone, right? So if you can be the person who stops that feeling from happening for someone, you take a horrible situation and you create a beautiful story out of it. And that's like community 101. Could we take the horrible things that happen to people and convert them into like wonderful moments?
My cousins told me about this app called Musical.ly, and I thought I would give it a try, so I did. I just kept on Musical.ly and connecting with people, and like September of 2017 or 2016, I got featured. I kept getting featured over and over again. So TikTok is where I boomed. When I started doing extra work, like being in Librarians and Grimm and Pretty Little Liars, that was really
Oh, really?
connected with a lot of people from being on those sets, and they would see my content and they're like, oh my gosh, I know somebody who would like to work with you. They'll be coming to me, they're like, you inspired me to get on TikTok, you inspired me to do these things. Like you were saying, like I'm such a bubbly person, I bring brightness and positivity, but at the same time I kind of still feel alone. Because lots of people that make this social media stuff, our friends, our family, don't really understand that. And that's why we need to connect with people that do that stuff. It's just so fun. Like, you eat a piece of candy and you're just like, oh, I want more. It brings such a smile to my face and my life. Sometimes I look back on some of my old videos and I just laugh. I laugh so hard. I'm like, gosh, I really made a video like that? Well, yeah, I did.
Yep, sure did. Spent time on it.
You look back at your old videos and you're like, wow, look at where I started and look where I'm at now.
I think it's really wonderful to take a friendship that you and I have sort of quietly had in social spaces. It was really great to finally get a good chance to sit and chat.
Yeah, you too. This was fun.
If I'm up in Seattle area, I can always be like, let's do a distance hangout.
Yeah, for sure. Or after COVID is over, if you wanted to take a road trip somewhere, we could do that. Okay.
Stay cool.
Yeah, you too, both metaphorically and, you know, physically.
Yeah.
Spent a little time in Portland from the comfort of my home in Seattle, and I hope to continue to do some traveling in this way. Did this make me feel like I no longer want to go to Portland? No, quite the opposite. In fact, I'm more excited to go to Portland than I have been previously. But that's kind of what happens with travel. You go a place a couple of times and you get more and more integrated with it as you go. And in that regard, I do feel like I've got new things and exciting things to explore in the future, and definitely new friends to hang out with while I go there. And that is something really wonderful that I get only from travel and only from experiences like creating things with you all in this digital space we have here, making the best of a world where we're distant but still connected. What's a place you're looking forward to traveling, or a place that you are traveling remotely while you're stuck at home during quarantine?